Welcome to the Muscles and Mindset Revolution, the podcast for high-achieving women who are done burning out in the name of discipline and are ready to build strength, self-trust, and calm consistency for life. I'm your host, Ann Jones, certified life coach, personal trainer, and mindset expert. After 15 plus years in the fitness industry, I know the real key to lasting change isn't just what you do, it's how you think. If you're ready to shift your mindset, build a lifestyle you love, and feel confident AF, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Hey, I'm so glad you're here today. I want to begin by saying this episode is not a how-to today. It is not a strategy lesson. It is not an announcement, and it is not like a rebrand reveal. It's a story. And it's a story about something we don't talk about enough, in my opinion. It's a story about what happens when the thing you built, the thing you dreamed of actually works and you don't want to hold it anymore. So if you're new here, if you've been following quietly for a long time, I want to give you a little context before we go any further. For the last 7 years, I've been running a fitness coaching business, fitness and mindset fitness coaching business. It grew slowly and then steadily and then quite significantly. It allowed me to work from home, to raise my daughter without handing her life entirely over to childcare schedules I'd want. It allowed me to earn real money without sacrificing my body, teaching fitness, my values, my family. It was not a side hustle. It wasn't a cute little side project. It was a real business, a real company, and it worked. And just last week, I walked away from it. And that is what we're talking about today. So in mid-January, I sat down and sent over 60 individual emails to my one-on-one coaching clients, not a broadcast, not a mass email or announcement, individual emails for each person. And each email said some version of the same thing, that I was leaving the business that I built, that I was completing my role, that I wasn't disappearing, but I wasn't continuing in fitness coaching either. And then I literally closed my laptop and I walked away from it. There was no like dramatic music, no crying on the floor, no crying at all, no big emotional release, just quiet. And then the next morning, my brain kicked in. My brain started braining, what are you doing? Because from a logical perspective, this decision made no sense. I had spent 7 years working my ass off, building exactly what I once dreamed of and prayed for. A business I could run from home, from anywhere, a community of like-minded women, financial stability without leaving my child, a full-time income in half-time hours. I had a team. I had systems. I have systems. I had clients who wanted to stay with me for years. Some of them were happy to keep going with me into 2027, even 2028. This was not something that failed. This was something that worked. And I want to pause here because it's very important. Most of the stories that we hear about leaving something revolve around burnout, collapse, exhaustion, resentment. This was not that. I wasn't fried. I wasn't drowning. I wasn't desperate to escape. If you're listening to this and you're thinking, okay, but this isn't my situation, I want you to stay with me because this episode is for a very specific woman. She's not afraid of effort or working hard. She's not afraid of commitment. She's not afraid of responsibility. She's built things that work. Her hard work has got her somewhere. She's built a career, a family system, perhaps a business, a role or multiple roles that people rely on. She's capable, she's consistent, she's dependable, she's hardworking. And somewhere along the way, she started carrying something simply because she could. You know what I'm talking about. Not because it still fit and she loved it, not because it was perfectly aligned, because she had the capacity and she could. And no one tells you that capacity and capability can become a trap. So if you're listening right now, I want to invite you to notice something. Not fix it, not answer it, just notice. What are you carrying simply because you are good at it? What feels like obligation rather than desire? And where have you been telling yourself, I should be grateful for this, when the truth is you might actually be complete with it? You don't need to answer this today. You just need to let the question exist. The decision to leave didn't come with any drama. There was no breakdown, no panic attack, no, oh my God, I can't do this anymore, it's not working moment. It was much clearer and quieter than that. It was a very clear internal knowing, literally on New Year's Day, I don't want to hold this anymore. Not because I can't, because I don't want to. And that distinction really matters, especially for women who pride themselves on being strong, because the moment you say, I don't want to, your brain will immediately ask you to justify it. or that other people are going to ask you to justify it, to explain it, to defend it, to make it make sense to someone else. And sometimes it just doesn't. Over the last 5 years, I've done a lot of nervous system work. I've learned how to expand my capacity, how to hold more clients, more money, more leadership, more responsibility. I learned how to sleep again after being an anxious insomniac. I learned how to stop bracing all the time, how to detach without collapsing. And here's the part that nobody really warns you about. Nervous system work is not just another thing to do. It expands your capacity and your resilience. And when you expand your capacity, you eventually get to choose how much of your capacity you actually want to use. Just because you can hold more doesn't mean you're meant to, doesn't mean it's for your highest good or the highest good of all. And that realization changed everything for me. I realized that continuing was possible, but it would require me to continue showing up as a version of myself that I have already outgrown. Not a bad version, not a wrong version, just a past one, just a different one. I still freaking love fitness. I always will. Movement is sacred to me. Strength training is empowering. Bodies are incredible. I believe strongly in all the things that I've always been saying, but coaching weight loss is no longer my work. And saying that out loud took time, because when something becomes part of your identity, letting it go can feel like erasing a part of yourself because people expect it from you, right? But what I learned is this: you don't erase yourself when you stop doing something, you reveal who you've become. Right now, I'm in a place in my life where I desire brain space and white space. Not freedom in the hustle sense, not less responsibility as avoidance. I am desiring spaciousness without obligation, the kind that lets me be creative and fully present in this season of my life, the kind that lets me homeschool without splitting my attention, the kind that doesn't ask me to keep holding everyone else while quietly shelving myself. I want to honor this season instead of rushing past it. And that's the piece that I want to speak directly to you about today. We're taught to expand, to push, to scale, to optimize, to build the next thing immediately after building the first thing. But there are seasons where the work is actually in refrain and restraint, of choosing less, of doing fewer things better, of standing in the doorway instead of sprinting into the next room just because you can. This is not laziness or stagnation, it's integration. It's letting your nervous system catch up to the life that you've built. I want to say this clearly. Not everything that you outgrow is a problem. Not every ending means something went wrong. Not every desire for less is fear, avoidance, laziness, or self-sabotage. Sometimes it is completion. Sometimes it is the harvest. Sometimes the bravest decision isn't building more, it's knowing when something is done. I don't have a big reveal for you today. Other than that, there's no rebrand announcement, no shiny next thing, just this truth I want you to hear from me. If something in you has been whispering, I don't want to carry this anymore, there's nothing wrong with you for hearing that. It doesn't make you bad or like you've done something wrong. You might just be standing at a threshold, and I can relate to that. I want to leave you with this. You don't need burnout or collapse to choose differently. You do not need permission to stop holding something that no longer fits. And you do not need to replace one identity immediately with another. Sometimes the work is simply staying with yourself long enough to notice that something is complete. If this episode stirred something in you, don't rush to label it or solve it. Just let it sit. Let it breathe. Let your nervous system catch up to the truth you already know. I'm not disappearing. I'm not rushing or sprinting ahead. I'm letting the next thing arrive really cleanly. So thank you so much for being here with me in this moment. I will share more soon when it's time. See you next week.